What's going on, everybody? We're going to do first edition of Monday Roundups, looking at the games in progress this week. First up, we're going to talk about Agent Steel and Flaming Dragons. Looking at Flaming Dragons, I mean, his hopes are over. He's not going to win this game. He has a DB4. He only has, Jamal Dean to play versus the Commish, who has Everett, who has Ronald Jones to play. He's down, Flaming Dragons is down by 55 points. It's over. Let's call it what it is. It's over. Steele's going to go to 8-3. He's going to be pushing for Bills Mafia, who we'll talk about a little later, who might fall to 8-2. Just Steele has a shot at the lead this right now. Next up, we have Orange Crush and Optica Spartans. Orange Crush. I mean, his team's looking great this week. He's going to put up close to 320, 330 points. Spartans gave it a gallant effort. He has a couple players left to play, but unfortunately for Spartans, it's just not going to be good enough this week. He's going to get that W. He's going to get that L. I mean, he's going to fall to 4-7. He had a shot to maybe push into the playoffs, but with this loss, his hopes are done. He's looking for, and hopefully he gets the first overall pick. Next up, you have Life Submitch and Joshua versus Milan and Unnecessary Roughness. Milan has a chance to win this week. Let's call it what it is. It's a slim chance. He needs Goff to throw, get 30 points from him. He needs McCoy to get some rushing touchdowns. He needs Brown, to maybe throw to McCoy to get those touchdowns, just so he can get some points. He does have the Rams defense, and then which is him hoping for McCoy and Brown to score. Rams defense, I mean, he's hoping for some pick sixes, I guess. Versus Life's a Mitch, who has Mike Evans, he has Reynolds, he has Gostin to play. I'm gonna say Joshua gets the win this week. He's gonna be 3-8. Who really cares? I mean, he's hoping for that first overall pick. He's got some picks he made in earlier in the season. He's looking for next year. Next up, you have the Illuminati versus Vlad Jr. crew. And, I mean, Robert's going to fall to 0-11. Let's not even talk more about this. Next up, you have Zebras and Gnome versus No More. Sousa's team is going to put up 300-some points. To me, she's looking like a contender. She put up another 300-point game last week, or at least close to it. We have No More. I mean, he has a couple players. I think he actually only has Gronk left to play versus, Suze, who has, Woods to play. She has Winfield to play. It's over. Suze is going to put up, 305, 306 points. No More, if he gets Gronk might catch a touchdown, might get him, 255. Zebras wins. It's over. Next up, what the commish called the game of the week, it's Bills Mafia versus Powers of Pain. Yeah, Brian's gonna win this. He's gonna send Matt and Bill's Mafia down to 9-2, and that's a sad thing because going down to 9-2, it leaves the commission a shot to play them flex week 13, get that W for there and take the league. I know Matt called himself the GM of the year. Unfortunately, when you want to be the GM of the year, you have to win games when you need to win them. And unfortunately, this is a loss. It might make him lose the league. And Bills Mafia does have a couple players left to play, though. He does have Godwin. He does have Henderson. He's got, I believe, an IDP Davis stuff to play. But Power of Pain has Akers. He has Barrett. He has Hill. In my opinion, this game's really over. Powers of Pain's going to pull a shocker. Let's call it what it is, a shocker against Bills Mafia and get that W. Next up, you have Curly Lamborghini versus Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime's over. Game's over. He has no more players left to play. Curly Lamborghini already won this. There's nothing more we need to say. Next up, another shocker. Potential shocker, I guess I could say. You have Philly Miracle Men versus Life's Likely Losers. And the likely losers is probably losers. He's probably going to lose this game. Philly Miracle Men don't have any players left to play this week. But likely losers has got Higbee. He can get only 10, 15 points. but then he has 2 IDPs. His IDPs, I believe, have been averaging for him, roughly 15 points, 20 points a game. I mean, David can get him, like if you're just looking at his previous history, you can get him 17 points, or he can get him, 6 points. It all depends on, how they're going to play this week. It's possible. Anything's possible. I think likely losers is definitely the losers this week. And Philly Miracle Man's going to pull out a shocker. They're going to hurt their chances of getting the first overall pick, but a win's a win, I guess when you're playing a divisional opponent. Next up, let's go head over and switch to, the LOC. Let's talk about some LOC games. First up, we're going to talk about Storm versus True North. Storm's won. True North has one player left to play. The game's over. He's down by, close to 90 points. It's over. Let's call it. Next up, you have Too Good for Game versus Fighting Geese. And as much as I was praising Suze in Dynasty, I don't think Suze is going to win another game this year. She's not going to get that 60th win. This is her 4th try, and she's going to go 0-4. Will she pick up that win, week 13 when her husband, the commish, gives her an easy matchup? Maybe. But I think if that happens, I think we need to call him out on it. In my opinion, she doesn't get that W into week 1 of next year, potentially. Maybe week 2. Or maybe she never wins again. Who knows? Next up, you have Optica Spartans versus Ellie Island. I mean, he's playing Ellie Island. He should win. She does have 2 wins this year, but she didn't even set her lineup. The commish had to go in and update her lineup. Let's move on. Next up, you have Canadian Guy versus Horror Business. The commish. I know Norm has a couple players left to play. He has Everett. He has Floyd. But the commish has Brown, and I believe that's actually the only player he has left to play. Can Canadian Guy win? Yeah. He's down by 32 points right now. I don't see the comeback coming here, guys. I'm going to call it. I'm going to say, the commish gets that W. Next up, you have the Age Crew versus the 12th man. Brian's team, let's call it what they did. They shit the bed. His quarterback, he had Rivers. He put up decent amount of points. Josh Jacobs and Aaron Jones did what they needed to do, but the rest of the team, they kind of fell flat. He has a couple players left to play. He has Fuller. And that is all he has versus Age Crew, who has 4 nets. The game's over. Let's just move on. And then next up, you have Sohino versus Life's a Mitch. Joshua needed to win this week to keep pace with Fallen Misfits and Deuce Bombers. With the loss, he might fall out of playoff contention. There's going to be a lot of 7-4 teams. He does have the points for against a lot of them, if not all of them. But it really comes down to, week 12, flex week 13. He might be playing for, a bubble spot. He might be playing for 7th or 8th to get into the playoffs. And, it's a shame because Joshua's a good guy. And he's lost to the international division multiple times this year. And that's the worst division to lose to. Next up, you have Deuce Bombers versus BC Lions. Stan's 5-5 with a horrible team. And this game's over. Let's just move on. Next up, you have the Architect versus Templars. The commish picked Templars to get that 2nd win of the season. It's not going to happen. It's over. Let's call it. Next up, you have the 6 versus Beelzebub. Milan is up. He's winning. He has 2 IDPs left to play. He has, I believe, Davis and Golston. They're averaging about 15 points combined for him. So let's say he's around 206, 207. Where Beelzebub, he has, Ronald Jones. He has Reynolds. He has Barrett and Hill to play. I think this is going to be a close one. I think Beelzebub's going to win by 1 to 2 points, if not less. It's going to be close. It's one to watch. I'm excited to watch it, Monday Night Football. Next up, and not last but least, is Fallen Misfits versus Green Lightning. I know Lucas has a couple players to play. He has Godwin, he has Higby, he has Devin White, he has Jamal Dean to play. They might give him 50 points. I mean, the problem is he's down by 53 point, 8.5. So that's the problem. He needs his teams his guys to score more points. Will he get it? I don't know. But on top of that, Misfits has Malcolm Brown, who can score anywhere from 3 points up to 20 points. Um, Honestly, if the game score was closer, maybe by 10, by 20, I would say, yeah, Lightning has a shot to win this. I don't see it happening. I think Misfits is going to going 8-3, 8-3. He's going to go into that matchup against Deuce Bombers, needing that W. It's going to be a good. We already know if Misfits wins this week. We already know what the game of the week is next week because it puts the league on the line. It puts the American Division money on the line. It's going to be a good game next week as long as Misfit wins this week. All right, well, that is all the games. I would like to thank you for watching and have a great day, everybody.